Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Utility Sports. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Marvin Bagley and something his dad actually had just tweeted, some breaking news, so we'll jump right into that. But first, before we do so, I want to usher you guys to hit that subscribe button. Completely free for you. We're right up around 1,400 subscribers. It would be awesome if you could just take 1 second of your day, click that button for us. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications if you do like our content. We'd love to have you guys in every video as soon as possible, and that way you get notifications sent to your device on YouTube. But here now, jumping into what we are discussing today, Marvin Bagley III and the Sacramento Kings. His dad actually did tweet today. He tagged the Sacramento Kings and said, "Please trade Marvin Bagley III as soon as possible. Love, Coach Bagley." And obviously this is really, really a big deal. He basically just requested a trade on behalf of his son. You'd have to think that this is a conversation he's had with Marvin Bagley III, obviously, at some point in the past couple of years. He was a second overall draft pick right before someone named Luka Doncic, if you've heard of him. And it's quite frankly just not worked out in Sacramento. Dave Yeager, the first year there was a lot of drama between Bagley and Yeager and the front office there in Sacramento because Bagley wasn't playing a ton, only played about 25 minutes a night his rookie year. Even though Yeager had even was quoted saying that De'Aaron Fox and Bagley are like a young Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, I didn't really understand that when he said it. It was really far off. It continues to prove to be far off. But that rookie season in 25 minutes, he did average 14.7 rebounds, something you thought maybe he could build off of. However, a really injury-ridden second season, averaged again 14 and 7, didn't really take any steps forward in a really reduced number of games. And then that third season, now the one he's just starting, in the first 6 games, he's shooting 38% from the field. Really, really poor number for a forward. He's scoring 11 points a game with 7 assists. Just quite frankly, not really impacting the game enough. Defensively, he has his issues. Obviously, they traded for Harrison Barnes during Bagley's rookie season. Kind of put Bagley into a weird spot because he's kind of a tweener in that big man position. Not really a true center. We've seen Rashawn Holmes kind of eating up those center minutes there. But he's more of a 4, but he doesn't really have the skill to be an NBA 4 at this point. Kind of what we see with some of these other players. You see more, traditional small forwards playing that 4 now. And it's just kind of an interesting situation for Sacramento. It just quite frankly hasn't worked out. Now, I do want to note, yes, Marvin Bagley did not request this trade himself. I'm not saying that he did. But at the same time, when LeVar Ball goes on, late night show or something and talk bad about Luke Walton, the current Kings head coach, it didn't look good for Lonzo's longevity there. Again, now we have a different father, this time Marvin Bagley's, saying he doesn't want his son playing for Luke Walton or the Sacramento Kings. Basically requests a trade for him out of Sacramento. This is just breaking tonight. This just came out tonight. So I haven't really given a lot of thought yet on possible destinations. Obviously, Houston went on and got their bigs in DeMarcus Cousins, Christian Wood. That would have maybe been a spot last year for him. At this point, doesn't seem like it would be. I don't think Dallas is a real landing spot for him. Again, he's kind of a tweener, doesn't really fit that well with what they're moving forward with. And just a few of the other teams in the league, it's just going to be kind of hard to see because the Kings are going to want to get value back on that. They used the second overall pick in 2018. Obviously, new front office there, new general manager. They have a lot of different things that they could address with a possible Marvin Bagley trade. But at this point, it doesn't look like Bagley is going to finish his career in Sacramento. That seems to be fully out of the question at this point. It's been kind of disappointing. I think Sacramento is going to try and roll him into a few assets, maybe a few picks down the road. It'll be an interesting thing to monitor. That'll be something worth monitoring. Maybe a team like the Charlotte Hornets could go buy low on him at this point, maybe see if they can turn him around a little bit, obviously, from that area in North Carolina. That could be something worth monitoring. I think Marvin Bagley, ultimately just people thought Luke Walton could maybe come in, open him up, give him some more minutes, but he's been playing 25 minutes a night, not only his rookie season, like I mentioned, under Yeager, but now under Luke Walton, his second year. Only played 25 minutes a game with those injuries. This year, again, only playing 25 minutes a game. It's just been kind of an odd situation. Imagine if the Kings had taken Luka Doncic. Even imagine if they had taken Trae Young. Yes, they had De'Aaron Fox at the time. But when you're going into a draft picking second overall, there's probably a reason you're there. And you should be picking the best player available at every spot, not a guy who necessarily fits with what's on your roster. You need to be taking the best players. Like, imagine if Dallas didn't draft Luka Doncic because they had Dennis Smith Jr. Just think about how silly that sounds, actually. Dennis Smith Jr., his rookie season, had a really nice year, about 15, 16 points, about 5 or 6 assists a game and shot okay from the field. But you just take the best player that you think's on the board. The Kings, maybe they thought Bagley was the best player. Obviously, that was a mistake. I didn't think that at the time. I thought Luka was the best player in the class. Obviously, he was. I was lower on Trae Young. I was wrong about Trae Young in that. But I did think Luka should have been the first overall pick. That's why I thought the Suns had brought in Kokokov to be their head coach, because he had coached Luka Doncic previously overseas. Was not the case for them. But the Kings obviously didn't even get Ayton. Ayton's been a very solid player from that class. Obviously wouldn't go first overall. He'd probably be the 3rd or 4th overall selection in that redraft. But Bagley wouldn't be a top 7, top 8 selection in that class. Bagley's looking like a real bust at this point. I'm hoping for his sake he can turn his career around, but he's going to need a different system, someone who really utilizes the pick and roll. I've been really critical of the Luke Walton hiring for the Kings. I just think the Kings have made a lot of mistakes. Now, with one selection, could they turn it all around? Possibly. I wouldn't rule it out. But at this point, they look like they're going to be having to go against an uphill battle here to make Marvin Bagley work out there. His dad obviously requesting a trade. And I just think it's going to be something that's worth watching. You know, maybe Detroit takes a risk on him, pays a little bit to get him. You're looking at a whole bunch of teams that are maybe not real playoff teams yet. I'd be willing to swing and miss on a guy like him. But I'm not really sure at this point who's going to be in the market for him. I just think that it's really interesting that he has essentially been put into trade conversations now at this point by his father, obviously asking Sacramento to get him out. That's going to open up conversations. Teams are going to be calling the Kings about him. And the Kings might even be placing their own calls, trying to find a suitor for Marvin Bagley III. Something to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button like I said. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell. We have all of our socials in the description: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and we have a merch line if that's something you're interested in. It's got our logo on it, Utility Sports. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.